before he comes out. He does magic. His name is David Scott. That makes him the Magic Man.
Thanks, George. Again, what about this show? What about all the talent today? Wasn't this great? This is fantastic. Well, when I'm out doing my full shows, a lot of times after the show, they'll come up and ask me, what are some of the first tricks that I ever saw? And actually, this is one of them. Ta-da! Just kidding. But anyway, my father used to show me this quite often because, well, my dad wasn't a magician, but whenever I didn't want to do my chores, he'd pull out this trick. So I need to say, I saw this a lot growing up. Just for an example, he'd pull out 3 2s and a joker, and he called the joker the money card. So it's kind of a little bit like gambling. I'll give you an example. In the fall, it would be my chore to rake the leaves. Well, he would pull out the cards, turn the joker over, put the joker on a stand so I couldn't get to it. Then he'd show me the 3 2s. He'd turn one of the 2s around and say, "Okay, Dave." He called me Dave because that was my name. But anyway, he'd say, "If you can guess where the joker is, you don't have to rake the leaves." Well, I knew he was raking me in, and I couldn't leave it at that. So I'd say it was in backwards in your hand. And he'd say, "No, son, it's the 2." Well, my dad, he was a really fair man, so he'd say, "I'll give you one more chance." So I said, "Well, obviously, it has to be on the stand." He'd say, "No, son, that's the joker. That's the 2. Go get the rake." Well, along would come winter, and of course, I had to shovel the snow, and guess what? The cards came out again. He'd turn the joker over, put it on the stand, show me the 3 2s, turn one around, but this time he would leave it jogged out a little bit. He'd say, "Okay, find the joker. You don't have to shovel snow." I thought about it. I knew he was snowing me. He knew I was a flake. Catch my drift? Well, I told him it was turned around in his hands. He said, "No, son, that's the 2." But again, he was a fair man. So I said, "Okay, it's got to be on the stand." He said, "No, son, it's right there. And that's the 2. Get the freaking shovel." Well, as time went on, I figured I'd try to catch him at his little game. But of course, here comes the spring. It's my turn to guess what? Mow the yard. Didn't like mowing the yard. Well, he'd get the card out, or all the cards out. And this time what he did, he turned 2 over, and I caught him. I said, "Wait a minute, Buster." Not only didn't talk to my dad that way, but Buster was his nickname. And anyway, he would take the card, pull them out like this, turn them over, turn this one over. Come back to me here. He would stick those 2 there. He would show these 2, turn them over. He'd run them back and forth. By this time, I couldn't take no mower. I did this whole bit for that one line. It's staying in. Okay? Y'all behave. So he's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I said, "Hold it, right there. I want the left one." He goes, "Sorry, son, that's the 2. And I said, "Aha, I got you. I didn't want the one in your left hand. I wanted the one that was left." And he said, "That's okay, go get the mower."
Hey.
But you see, my father didn't really have any jokers to begin with. See, what he did, he would snap his finger and the joker would come out of the back. Thanks, everybody. The Magic Man.
Yes, he does magic. His name is David Scott, and he's the Magic Man.